Hello everyone, how are you doing today? I'm back with another video, and in today's video we have a Dell G5 5590. The regulatory model is a P82f 5100, and this laptop do come with an RTX 2060 and 6 gig of video RAM and 16 gig of normal RAM and NVMe drives. But in this video I'm gonna go over how you can open up, and this applies for any G5 5590 series. And you open it up and clean up the heatsink and the fan system and repaste them in case yours is running a little warm and you want to get a little more performance. You should be doing your own repaste cleaning every few years, or at least every year I would recommend you, depending the usage that you give them. I'm going to go over the tools that I'll be using for this, and remember, by doing this, you're not going to change any configuration or anything inside the laptop. Pretty much everything's going to be the same. Tool number one is an alcohol, isopropylic alcohol. You will need a screwdriver set. I'll recommend you guys to grab the UFIXTEK screwdriver set. Phillips number one. If you get a pro set, they will include you with an opening tools and tweezers. If not, grab yourself a guitar pick. And metallic guitar picks are really suitable to opening cases and covers. You need a curved tweezers. You need a workshop towel. One sheet of the workshop towel. And you need a good thermopaste. I'll be using an Arctic MX4. You can go overboard and grab yourself a Thermo Grizzly Cryonaut, which is already good too. But Arctic MX4 is very fine for this one too. Alright, with all this on hand, we're gonna flip up the laptop upside down, and we're gonna see a whole bunch of screws. We're gonna remove all the screws except the two back mid, because these two they have a little C-lock on them, and they will prevent them from coming out. So first we're going to start from the corner, remove all the screws except these two at the back end. All the screws are the same size and height, so don't worry about mismatching them. Go ahead and remove them. Also, if you guys like my videos, if my videos are helping you guys out through your own service upgrades, you can support the channel by clicking that like and subscribe. I'll greatly appreciate it. It helps and motivates me to make more videos, take requests, and answer your questions in the comment area. I appreciate that. Alright, once we remove all the screws, now let's see what happens once I start removing the C-lock screws right in here. I'm just gonna twist and watch this cover right here, and you're gonna see a separation right there. And once you hear a tiny click, you wanna stop. There we have it. Now you can just simply grab it and pull it back, and the cover will come out entirely. Now, so this is the bottom cover. You can grab another toothbrush and take it outside and clean up the bottom chassis. All right, and the rest of the heat sinks, everything is right in here. Nice blue color, everything. But first thing first, you're gonna disconnect the battery by pulling this lever upward. Pull it upward like this. Hold this handle and pull it up. So that way you can disconnect the battery. Next, we wanna remove the fan system. So we wanna remove the 3 screws on each fan. 3 on this side, and 3 screws on the other fan. You can grab the fan and pull it out. Okay. Now I don't like yanking on the fan cable as long as it is really fragile. So what I do, I'll put the tweezers on the side of the fan jack, and I'll just help it out by pushing it backward. So that way it doesn't stress out the fans. I can see, I don't want to stick my head in the camera. There we go. So I'll just pull it out like this, so it's easier. You can take the fan outside, blow some dust through here and clean it up. And there's a little more. Look, there's a tiny screw loosen up right in here. I don't know where this screw came from, but there's a loosened screw right through there. But there was a 3 screw for that one, 3 for here. Oh, I guess my screw just fall down there. So yeah, so 3 on 3. So there's a little dust in here, so I can grab this dust. Just a little fur dust. So you need to clean up everything. Now we're gonna remove all of them. So go ahead and remove this fan too. Again, we don't want to pull the cable. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna stick this one here. Pull it back. Okay. Now we're gonna remove the screws on the heatsink. So there should be 4 for the CPU and 3 for the GPU. They have a little C-lock on them, so don't worry, the same thing. You just have to loosen them up. Some of the screws will come out. If it does come out, don't panic, don't worry, just rotate. They usually shouldn't come out because of the C-lock on them, but sometimes, whatever reason, they do come out. Don't panic, it's okay, you just can screw it back in. The reason for the C-lock is so you don't lose the spring. They have a little spring to it. Once you finish, just grab it and pull it out, just like that. So there's your heatsink, and there's all your thermal paste. They use a different colors. I'm gonna go over the size of the thermal paste. I would not recommend you guys to replace the thermal pads in here. Don't replace them because the thermal pads, they are not overclocked or anything like that. They are far more than fine. Just leave them the way they are. But I'm gonna use my caliper and I'm gonna tell you the sizes for this one. So the ones in the middle in here, the one in the bottom, this is 2.5 millimeters. So these two are 2.5 millimeters. And the ones beside them, these are 1 millimeter thick. And this one right at the corner, this one is a 3 millimeter thick. This one right in here, this is a 0.5 millimeter thick. So 0.5. And this one is 1.5 and 1.5. So these two are 1.5 millimeter thick. This one is a 3 millimeter thick. This one right in here. This one is a 3 millimeter thick. 0.5 and 0.5 millimeter thick. And 0.5, 0.5. 3 millimeters and 3 millimeters. 3 millimeters, 3 millimeters right there. And the one on the bottom, this one is a 0.5 millimeters, the one dragging in there. So they're using a whole bunch of different sizes in here. But in here, you don't need to, just need to clean up the heatsink, that's all. Remove the extra dust, everything that is in there accumulated. And we're gonna clean up the heatsink and the CPU. To do that, you need one sheet of the workshop towel on the middle corner, soak it in an alcohol, just like this. And you want to swipe over the GPU. There's a big GPU right there. Make sure nice and clean. Use a dry part to make sure there is no more alcohol or anything on top. There's no dust particle. Clean up the CPU. There we go. Once the CPU is cleaned, now we're gonna clean up the same thing on a heatsink. So clean up the heatsink. Use that clean sheet. Do a second pass. Make sure nice and shiny. And use a dry part. Always use a dry part at the end. Now we are ready to go. So we're gonna put one line on the CPU die. And we're gonna put an X shape right on the GPU die. Don't worry, it's not too much. The too much was from the fabric from the factory that it came all over the place. So that's fine. So grab this one. You see the C-lock is still right there. The C-lock is made out of the plastic. That's why it came out, so you can actually push it back in. The tiny plastic, you can push it right through there and pinch it together, and it should hold it right through there. There we go. So that's because of the C-lock is made out of the plastic. All right, so we need to put the CPU this way up. And once you put it down, you don't want to lift it up again. Just align it first. Make sure it's nice and aligned, and bring it down and put it right on top. Follow the numbers. You see this says 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So follow the numbers. Don't tighten it up too much, just do a little bit of turn on each, and you come back and you do a second pass turn. So always do a little turn, come back, and go again. All right, once you finish with that, now I'm gonna take these fans outside, and I'm gonna use a toothbrush because they're kind of dirty, they're clogged up. We're gonna clean it up nicely, and I'll be back right after this. All right, the fans are nice and cleaned, so just use a toothbrush and it's compressed air. Now we need to put them together. Remember, the one with the short cable is on the right side. It says CPU fan because this is the CPU side. This is a GPU fan, the GPU side. So before we put the fan in, we just want to push in the jack inside the connector. So we're going to grab it and we're just going to slide it right evenly through the jack. It only goes in one way. You have to go softly in, align them, and push the fan right on top. And you can just open it up every few months to just clean up the fan system without removing the heatsink. But every year or every year and a half will be a really good idea to remove or replace the thermal paste. All right, once you put the fan, put the 3 screws for the fan. I am going to power on the laptop at the end so you guys can see that it turns on. All right, once you put the fan, everything in there, all you need to do, make sure evenly grab the connector for the battery, bring it down evenly on top of the jack, and push it towards the motherboard. Make sure you don't put it sideways or anything like that. And the last thing down here would be to just grab the bottom cover. Make sure the cables are on the side. Put it on top. Squeeze the corners. And once you start twisting these screws right in here, it's going to pull the cover to itself and it's going to lock in itself. And the last thing would be to just put the bottom screws on the rest of the place. I hope you guys liked this video and helped you guys out. If it did, please click the like and subscribe to support the channel. All right, so let's go ahead and turn it on. So I see the light. And I should see a Dell logo right there. And there we have, and we should boot up to our Windows, which is loading right there. And that should be all. I hope you guys liked this video and helped you guys out. If it did, you know what to do. If you have any question or requests, feel free to leave them in a video comment. I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.